Hello everyone, it's Melina. I'm back with another journal with me in my junk journal. For this spread, I wanted to create a collage as the base on one side of the page, and I wanted to leave the other side blank so that I could add some writing. I wanted to play with some neutral tones for the collage, so I picked out some papers that fit in with that color theme. I used some book paper, sheet music, some newspaper, and also some graph paper. So I'm basically just tearing up little bits of paper and arranging it all around the page. I really like the look of the torn edges, and I also like the variation in the different sizes and shapes of the pieces of paper. So I tried not to put a lot of thought into the way that I was tearing the paper or the way I was arranging it on the page. Basically, if there was any empty spaces on the collage, I just covered that up with another piece of paper. One thing that I did consider was I tried not to incorporate two of the same type of paper right next to each other. So, for example, I put those two pieces of graph paper on opposite sides of the page. I also had two little bits of music paper, and I had one on the left side and then one on the right side of the page. I also glued down the papers such that some of the text was vertical and some was horizontal. I think that these techniques keep the collage more balanced visually while also allowing a little bit of randomness on the page. The reason why I chose neutral colors for the collage is because I wanted the collage to act as a background for the spread, and I wanted to add something on top of the collage. So initially I thought I would use something with a little bit of color. I actually had this napkin which was very colorful, and I thought I could add that on top, and since the napkin is transparent, you'd still be able to see through to the texture of the collage in the background, but I just couldn't really get that to work. And also, after finishing the collage, I just really liked the natural colors that I used. And since I am keeping the left side of the page bare, I thought that the colors went really nicely with the craft paper. So I ended up sticking with a neutral color scheme for this spread, and I'm actually quite glad I did that because a lot of the pages in this journal are very colorful, and so it's kind of nice to break that up a little bit with some neutral tones. So after I finished gluing down all of the little bits and pieces of the collage, I went over it with some white paint. That helped to sort of blend everything together and create a more unified and soft look to the collage. So I mostly focused on where any of the two papers met and tried to soften up those edges. You could use some gesso or any type of medium on top of this, but I just used some acrylic white paint. So after the paint dried, I decided that the left-hand corner of the page was just a little bit blank, so I ended up adding a piece of transparent paper with some text to make it a little bit more interesting. And for the focal point of this collage, I decided to use this really big floral sticker that I have. I absolutely love this sticker, and I really wanted to find a good use for it, and I think this spread is absolutely perfect, and I just really like the way that it pulled everything together. Since I only collaged one half of this spread, I wanted to unify both sides of the page by creating a border all around it. So I added a frame using my black pen, but I didn't think that it was bold enough, so I ended up going over it again with a thicker marker. And now I'm just writing in a poem using that same marker. I believe it was written by Peabody. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I found this poem on Pinterest and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to copy it over to my journal. And by the way, if you'd like to follow me on my Pinterest, the link will be in the description below. My username is Melina Makes, and I also have the same username over on Instagram, so feel free to follow me over there. Alright, so moving on to the next spread. As I mentioned earlier, I had cut out these floral images from a napkin, and I was planning to use them in the previous spread, but I thought they looked better on the corners of the page, whereas on the previous spread I was looking more for something to sit in the middle of the page. I still wanted to use the napkins since it did take me some time to actually cut them out, so I decided to use them on this page instead. And one of the things that I really like about using napkins is that they are very beautiful, but you can also see through them. So I'm still able to see through the image and see what was on the paper behind it. So that paper on the right hand side of the page is a list of exercises or stretches that you can do. And I thought that this would be a good reminder for me, since I've been working from home, to get up every once in a while and do some stretches. This also inspired me to create a list of ways that I can stay active, especially during this time. I've definitely had a few days where I kind of sat around and didn't really do much, and I know that I always kind of regret it, and when I do something active, I always feel a lot better afterwards. So I created a title for my page using some brush lettering, and it just says "Staying Active." And on the other side of the spread, I cut out a piece of transparent paper, and I'm going to write out my ideas for staying active. So I included certain things that I enjoy doing, like dancing, walking up and down the stairs. I also included cleaning the house, which really isn't something that I enjoy, but it's something that needs to get done, and I figured it's kind of an active chore, and once I'm done, the house will be clean, so I'm kind of knocking out two birds with one stone there. I also left a little bit of space below just so I can add more things if I think of more ideas later on. And then I just glued that down, and by the way, I'm really liking this glue that I'm using. It's the Elmer's Restick glue, so you can reposition whatever you've put down after about 5 minutes, and then it fully dries and pretty much sticks to the page. So I'm now adding in the title, and I noticed that the paper is kind of the same color as the background. So I decided to include some of this floral washi tape, which matched really well with the floral napkins that I included. So I'm basically placing them down as kind of like a border for those two words that are part of my title. So that is pretty much it for this video. I really hope that you all are doing okay and staying safe. I have personally been kind of having a tough time, but I'm definitely, hanging in there and trying to just keep myself occupied and busy. So let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below. If you enjoyed, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to have you here. And I'd also love to know your thoughts on what you think I should name this junk journal. I'd love to give it a name. I was thinking Rose because there's a rose on the cover, but if you have any ideas, definitely add it in the comments below, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.